Before you continue with your day, pause for a moment and listen closely, because what you are about to hear is not just another celebrity rumor or another headline that fades by tomorrow morning. This is a story wrapped in mystery, silence, and a puzzle so complex that even seasoned investigators struggled to untangle it. 17 people walked into a quiet hotel suite on a night that was supposed to be routine. 17 powerful figures from the entertainment world, each carrying their own secrets, their own alliances, and their own carefully constructed alibis. And yet, when the night ended, one man would never leave that room alive. The man at the center of the mystery was Yu Menglong, and what happened during his final hours would send shockwaves through the entire drama industry. Stay with this story until the end, because every clue, every whispered conversation, and every microscopic piece of forensic evidence will slowly reveal how the perfect wall of silence built by 17 suspects finally collapsed under the weight of a single undeniable truth. And if you believe mysteries like this only exist in crime dramas, then prepare yourself, because the reality behind the story is far more chilling than fiction. The night began quietly. It was late evening inside a luxury hotel tucked deep within the city entertainment district. The lobby glowed with warm light reflecting off polished marble floors, while soft music drifted through the air. Guests arrived and departed without noticing anything unusual. But on the 23rd floor inside a private suite, something far more complicated was unfolding. One by one, 17 people entered the room. They were not strangers. Each of them belonged to the inner circle surrounding Yu Menglong. Producers, agents, fellow actors, managers, investors, and creative partners. Individuals who had worked together for years, building projects, careers, and reputations inside the fast-moving drama industry. To anyone outside the room, it looked like a simple meeting. A gathering of influential figures discussing upcoming productions and future collaborations. But according to those who later reviewed the timeline, the atmosphere inside the suite carried a strange tension from the very beginning. Yu Menglong had arrived first. Witnesses recalled him standing near the large window overlooking the city lights, speaking quietly on his phone before the first guest arrived. Soon after, the door opened. The first visitor stepped inside. Then another. And another. Within 30 minutes, the room was filled with conversation. Glasses clinked gently as refreshments were served. Papers and digital tablets appeared on the table as discussion about contract schedules and upcoming projects filled the air. But something about the gathering felt unusual. Several attendees later described the mood as restless. Not hostile, but uneasy. As if unspoken disagreements hovered beneath every polite sentence. Outside, the hotel security cameras recorded each arrival, carefully marking the exact time each person entered the suite. Those recordings would later become one of the most important pieces of evidence in reconstructing what happened during the next several hours. Inside the room, the meeting continued. At first, the discussion revolved around a large upcoming drama project rumored to involve multiple high-profile stars. Yu Menglong reportedly expressed strong opinions about the direction of the production. According to one witness, his voice remained calm but determined as he insisted on creative decisions that others in the room seemed reluctant to accept. The conversation grew intense. Not explosive, but charged. Some participants leaned forward listening carefully, while others exchanged quick glances across the table. Then something shifted. A disagreement surfaced regarding contractual authority over the project. Several individuals believed certain rights had already been finalized, while Yu Menglong insisted the agreement required further revision. For several minutes, voices rose slightly as the discussion became more serious. Eventually, the tension eased. Or at least appeared to. The meeting seemed to settle into quieter conversation again. Yet beneath the surface, the atmosphere had changed. Hours passed. Some guests left early, offering polite farewells before disappearing into the hallway. Others remained inside the suite, continuing their discussions late into the night. By midnight, only a handful of people were still present. And then shortly after 1 in the morning, the final visitors departed. Security cameras confirmed each individual leaving the room one by one. Their alibis seemed flawless. Each person had witnesses confirming their movements after leaving the suite. Everything about the timeline appeared perfectly ordinary. Until the following morning. Hotel staff attempting to contact Yu Menglong discovered that he was no longer responding. When the door to the suite was finally opened, the situation inside immediately raised alarms. Investigators arrived quickly. At first, the circumstances seemed confusing. There were no obvious signs pointing toward a clear explanation. But forensic specialists began examining the room, carefully documenting every surface, every object, every microscopic trace left behind. And that is when the puzzle truly began. Because forensic science does not rely on guesses. It relies on evidence. The specialists collected dozens of samples from surfaces throughout the suite. Glassware, table edges, door handles, fabric upholstery, and even the polished wood of the conference table where the meeting had taken place. Every sample was catalogued and preserved. At first, the evidence seemed inconclusive. After all 17 individuals had occupied the room during the evening, naturally their presence had left traces. Fingerprints, fibers, and genetic markers appeared everywhere investigators looked. Yet one discovery stood out. Hidden on the edge of a decorative sculpture placed near the window, forensic analysts identified a genetic sample that did not match the expected pattern of casual contact. The placement suggested something more deliberate, something that occurred during a moment of direct physical struggle. The investigators studied the timeline again. Each of the 17 attendees had provided detailed statements describing their movements. Their alibis appeared solid. Surveillance cameras confirmed their departures. Hotel staff remembered seeing them enter elevators and exit the building. At first, it seemed impossible that the answer could lie among them. Yet the genetic evidence continued pointing toward someone who had been inside that room. Quietly, analysts compared every collected sample with the records obtained from the 17 attendees. One by one, the profiles matched the normal traces expected from a crowded meeting environment, until only one result remained unresolved. A single genetic marker. Small, precise, impossible to ignore. It matched one of the 17 individuals, someone whose alibi had initially appeared completely unbreakable. Investigators reviewed the surveillance footage again, focusing on the moment that person had left the suite. At first, nothing unusual appeared, but careful frame-by-frame analysis revealed a small detail. The individual had briefly returned to the doorway after stepping into the hallway. Just a few seconds. Long enough to re-enter the room. Long enough for something crucial to happen. When confronted with the forensic results, the suspect initially denied any involvement, insisting the return to the room was merely to retrieve a forgotten item. But the genetic evidence could not be explained away. The microscopic trace told a different story. A story of a moment that shattered the quiet alliances inside the entertainment industry. A story that revealed how even the most carefully constructed alibis can collapse when confronted by the unyielding precision of science. As investigators pieced together the final sequence of events, the truth began emerging piece by piece. 17 people had entered the suite that night. 16 left carrying only memories of a tense meeting. 1 left carrying a secret that would not remain hidden forever. Because the smallest piece of evidence often speaks louder than the loudest denial. And in the end, the silent language of forensic science exposed what years of speculation could never uncover. The truth behind the final night of Yu Menglong. A mystery built on silence. A betrayal hidden behind familiar faces. And a reminder that even in a world filled with powerful alliances and carefully protected reputations, the truth has a way of revealing itself. Sometimes through witnesses, sometimes through time, and sometimes through a single microscopic clue that refuses to disappear.